ever since yesterday, there's over 300, almost 345 new cases, over 300, with over 20 new deaths. No new cases in New Oasis County, and no new deaths either. Since the 19th, again, 2.2%, you get the same thing based on the 7-day average. It's been updated. Since the 26th, almost 3,000 people are in ICU. And over 14,000 people have been hospitalized. Vaccinations since today, the 28th. 72% of the population have had at least one dose, 20.8, and 70.6 million people have been fully vaccinated, which is 60.7%. In the U.S., 560 million doses have been given. Fully vaccinated people are 217, and 66.6% of the population has been fully vaccinated. Total cases so far, 6.6 million total cases. Deaths, over 87,000. Total doses given, 45 million. People fully vaccinated, 17.5 million. Total doses worldwide, 11.1 million. Fully vaccinated is 4.5 million people, which is 57.9% of the population. And in the UK, it's worse. If you're going to travel to the UK, don't go to the UK. Because that's a hot spot for COVID. A really bad hot spot for COVID. If you know what I mean here. As you guys try to understand here, I'm keeping you guys safe here. And if you're going to think about traveling, don't go to the UK. If you live in the UK, you need to follow these tips. So you can get yourself clean and healthy so that we can go back doing normal things. I mean, you can go back. Philadelphia ISD is still in stage 2 in mitigation, which is perfect. But what about the reported positive cases? Well, last week on the 24th, there was one case. How's it happening since the 28th? Since it hasn't happened today? Well, only one in the district. That's perfect. We're going towards the end of March. We're 3 days away from the end of March. We got to keep moving forward with those zeros. If we can't move forward with those zeros, all we're going to end up be doing is chasing the horse out of the barn with the vaccine. So what has changed? Give me 1 second here. So really, what has been changed? No new news about COVID, but the thing that has changed here is that since 2 years, everybody has been hoarding toilet paper. I mean, just 2 years ago, this was a pandemic, so like hurricanes, everybody had to go get that freaking toilet paper. And everyone had to go get food. And during that time, my mom had me go in and get more food. Or grocery items, like steak, hamburger meat, and all that stuff. But she had a plan for those. But I held my breath, and during those 2 years, I held my breath. I followed the guidelines. I gave you guys the tips. I was the first show ever to help you. And I'm still following those CDC guidelines and taking them very seriously. And you should too. Take me and the CDC very seriously. Which brings us to the loss of the sense of smell. Now, I got back my sense of smell. Last week, my sense of smell was gone because of a clogged nose. It was not It was not COVID. It was something else. But almost in a week, it got back. But I'm still feeling a lot better now. A whole lot better. So until that time, we all have to make sure we follow these tips one way or another. And by that, we have to make sure that we're being masked at all times. Even though you're unvaccinated. If you're unvaccinated, make sure you wear those masks. Again, the mask should be at the bridge of the nose, not down here, nor at the bottom of the chin. Social distance. Again, 6 feet. 6 feet or more. The definition of social distance. Hand washing. It's very important to wash your hands to help stop the spread of germs. Germs can hide anywhere you touch. And the whole point of washing your hands is to stop spreading germs. If you work at a fast food restaurant, it's the same thing. You have to wash your hands every hour, 30 minutes, 110 degrees, soap, for about 20 seconds. You're riding transportation, you're riding the airplanes, you're riding the subway, it's the same thing. The airline said it's going to restrict its mask mandate this next month. So that could be some great news. Know where to get from your RTA, we'll give you more. Also, if you're under 2, no masks, you have a medical condition, don't. Just let them know beforehand, because it's violation of the ADA, and if you have problems like asthma or if you're claustrophobic or something, you can't wear a mask, just let them know, that way they can help. And if you're quarantined, stay home. If you have COVID, get the vaccine, and don't go anywhere while you're in quarantine. Just try to understand here, you're quarantined, you're in quarantine. And try to recognize the symptoms. Alright, coming up next, it's the talk over town. It's all over the headlines. Will Smith smacking Chris Rock. We'll tell you what happened during last night's Oscars when we come back. Don't go away. Up front tonight, Oscar smack. Now, if you watched the Oscars last night, you may have seen Will Smith, the most talented, great actor ever, smack Chris Young. What happened? Take a look.
Headline from last night's Oscars, unfortunately, isn't the groundbreaking Best Picture winner Coda. More on that in a minute. But it's what happens now after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock live on the air. The Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Scientists said in a statement today that it condemns Smith's actions and has launched a formal review. We get more now from Entertainment Tonight co-host Kevin Frazier.
Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right?
Will Smith laughs. Jada Pinkett Smith is stunned. Seconds before this,
Oh, wow.
the slap heard around the world, and the parts bleeped out afterwards.
Keep my wife's name out your mouth. I'm going to, okay?
Smith was enraged by the G.I. Jane reference because of his wife's hair loss from alopecia. Moments later, Smith is seen in these photos talking with Tyler Perry, Bradley Cooper, and Denzel Washington, who he referenced in his acceptance speech for Best Actor.
Denzel said to me a few minutes ago, he said, at your highest moment, be careful, that's when the devil comes for you.
Some are defending Smith. Comedian Tiffany Haddish told People magazine, when I saw a black man stand up for his wife, it was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But director Rob Reiner tweeted, he's lucky Chris is not filing assault charges. And this from actress Sophia Bush. Violence isn't okay. Assault is never the answer.
The thing he did is something that you're told in preschool you're not allowed to do.
Daniel Feinberg is the chief TV critic for The Hollywood Reporter.
To slap someone in a public place, you will probably be charged with something. You will definitely be asked to leave that place. You will probably not be handed a trophy within 15 minutes of doing it.
After winning his Oscar for Best Actor, Smith apologized to everyone it seemed except Chris Rock.
I want to apologize to the Academy. I want to apologize to all my fellow nominees.
But late today he posted, My behavior at last night's Academy Awards was unacceptable and inexcusable. I would like to publicly apologize to you, Chris. I was out of line and I was wrong.
Well, Kevin Frazier joins us now from Los Angeles. So, Kevin, do we know if the Academy is considering punishment for Will Smith?
They are. You know, in 2017, they amended their code of conduct after the Harvey Weinstein scandal when he was ousted from the membership. Will most likely face some kind of disciplinary action, but an insider told me they don't think he'll lose his Oscar.
And then, Kevin, has anyone heard from Chris Rock?
Well, Chris went to a different after party last night, and a source there told us that while he didn't want to talk about it and that he just wanted to move on, he was there to kind of have fun and forget about it. And also that we all know that Chris did not press charges against Will with the LAPD.
Kevin Frazier, thank you so much.
Good news.
This is Tiffany.
So why couldn't he just apologize to him while he was on stage? I don't know. Well, basically the whole thing, he wanted to apologize to everyone else, but this kind of behavior is unacceptable. Disciplinary action is going to be taken because of what he did was wrong. If you apologize to someone, that's not going to help. You won't get your trophy, but you're still going to be punished. It doesn't matter. It's what the rules of it's what the rules say. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. In preschool, you were taught not to slap people. You were taught not to fight. But you did it anyway for a reason, because you think that would help solve problems. Assault's never the answer. And Will and Smith was lucky that Rock did not press charges. It would have been like, and nominate for best slap goes to Will Smith. Even Inside Edition reported about the Oscars. The only reason why Will Smith smacked Chris was basically because he was talking about his wife. In an ungrateful way. I'm sorry, but if that happens to you, you can't solve problems. But then he was like, keep my wife's business out of your blanking mouth. And he said, I'm going to. But he just kept continuing. And there he is, smack in the face. That is very unacceptable behavior, and if I did that, I wouldn't apologize, I would accept my punishment. Because that behavior was unacceptable. It was unacceptable behavior, even for me. So, yeah. I guess what needs to happen here is this: when you choose the behavior, you choose the consequences. Choose wisely here. Alright, coming up next. There's a shortage in baby formula. How can you cope with this? We'll tell you. And then the school board votes on the 2022-2023 school calendar after the teachers union had problems with it. We'll tell you about that after this. There's some concern tonight in Corpus Christi about hogs that is happening in Yorktown. I mean, let me tell you something. Hogs and Corpus Christi, give me a break here. It's like, that's the type of stuff you would not want in your home. Even if you want it in your home, I would not want it in my home, even if you had a big enough fence or a farm. Take a look.
One Corpus Christi neighborhood are concerned about feral hogs running without control.
Right, so this is happening in the Rancho Vista neighborhood, which is located in the Corpus Christi, on the south side of Corpus Christi, just off of Yorktown Boulevard. And Chris 6 News reporter Patrick Johnstone spoke with some of those residents about the damage they're causing.
Well, this is the second time in about a week that feral hogs have come through and torn up the grass at the roundabout in the Rancho Vista neighborhood. But residents are most concerned with their children coming in contact with these animals.
I thought it was just getting vandalized. Like, who would tear up my whole front yard and our grass and all of our trees and everything?
Roxanne Garcia said her lawn has been torn up multiple times by the animals.
Then the second time, I posted it on our neighborhood website, and that's when we started realizing there was a hog problem.
Residents have been having issues with the wild animals for a few months. Kimberly Fuquay took this video Monday morning.
It took about 2.5 hours to actually get just 7 of them down.
Fuquay said a few days ago she saw the hogs show up just minutes after the neighborhood kids got on the school bus. She said she's worried about kids thinking the young pigs are cute and interacting with them.
You have an adult pig that sees that and they might feel like you're trying to harm their child, and then turn around and turn on the child, try to attack them, and then you've got adults trying to get to the big pig and the piglet and everything else. So we just want to make sure that the kids are as safe as possible. And we're doing whatever we can.
Garcia said neighbors have gone to leave their homes but can't because the animals are on their lawn.
You know, we just normally come out of our car, get into the house. How bad would it be if we're opening up the door and there's just a whole bunch of them there? It's very scary.
And the problem the neighbors are now facing? What can they legally do?
So it kind of makes us feel like there's a lot of red tape. You know, you cannot shoot within city limits.
And there can be only so much that the police department can do in animal control because they're wild and, you know, it's wildlife.
Garcia said the community has come together to help try to solve this issue, and Fuquay said that she's been in touch with the Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, who have offered their services to help. Reporting in Corpus Christi, Patrick Johnstone, Chris 6 News.
Oh, get this. According to the Texas Park and Wildlife Department, wild pigs have been listed as one of the top 100 worst invasive species in the world. Researchers say most damage caused by wild pigs is through either rooting or directly eating plants. Take a look at this. In 2005, researchers estimated that in a single night, one wild hog can cause at least $1,000 in damage to agriculture. The most recent study shows the annual loss to agriculture in Texas is about $118 million.
And wild pigs can also carry at least 30 diseases which threaten humans, livestock, and wildlife, including swine flu. And even this, listen to this, we're told that it causes foot-to-mouth disease. And these diseases actually could cause crippling damage to the United States agricultural industry.
So the bottom line is, keep your kids away from these hogs. You never know what they could carry. Even though your child may think they're cute, keep away from them. And if they have problems, you need to call animal control. If you're driving in from Yorktown going to Flower Bluff, you need to call animal control. Talk to the police department, let them know what's going on. Take videos, take pictures. As a matter of fact, if you find any hogs, you find any hogs in Yorktown or here in Flower Bluff, send them to me via email, and we'll play them for you on Give Me a Break. And we'll show them, and we'll show the people in Yorktown. We'll even talk with the police department, saying what can we do to make sure this doesn't happen again. And like the people on Andrew Christian's report said, they're going to do their best. They're trying to help out. You can't shoot within city limits, but you should. I'm not saying, forget what I said. I say you should. You said, I apologize for saying this because I'm not trying to tell you out there to go break the law. If you do that, that is your choice. But let's not solve problems by getting a 9mm and freaking shooting up hogs. When we come back, more school threats. There are more school threats. And just 3 days ago, a Browser High School student is facing charge after multiple threats made this week. The district on Friday, a student has been leading a response for and was questioned by Toledo Police Department and expelled. That's a good choice to be expelled. Here's what the article says. In Toledo, Ohio, a Browser High School student is facing criminal charges after a series of threats were made this week. The school's made an announcement Friday that Marshall was placed on lockdown multiple times this week following phone calls and threatening violence. In a statement, the district said a student believed to be responsible for making several calls was questioned by the police. So, which is good. He's probably going to be arrested. He's now sent to juvie. Maybe he'll learn a lesson. Which leads us to the similar one. Officials identified 2 people responsible for Bowser High School threats. It was only one student, now there's 2. According to the public school spokesman, anonymous callers separate incidents made threats to shoot up the school on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. These threats were not credible. In a statement to CBS 13 ABC, TBS said school officials told the police believe Bowser student responsible for 2 of the bogus phone threats. Students now face criminal charges will be expelled. Not going to end the minors here. And Alexis Means, ABC 13, said on Facebook, "You better start parenting." Yeah, this is what I say to you. Alexis, this is what I say to you guys. You better start parenting. You better start monitoring your kids' social media accounts. If you don't start following your social media account, you don't start keeping an eye on their social media accounts, that could happen to you if you guys don't do something. Which leads us to a study from Fox 8. 40%, did you get that? 40% of school administrators threatened by parents last year. Now, not only to the kids, but to the parents. School administrators seen an influx of violent threats from parents during the pandemic, but according to a recently released technical report from the American Psychological Association, the aggression mostly came from parents who did not want their students to wear a mask at school, and had politicized the pandemic by parents who blamed the schools for earning loss of warning the violence against educators and personnel. The survey was answered by about 50,000 employees during the 2021 school academic year. It found that 1/3 of teachers said they had been threatened by students during COVID-19. Administrators were most likely to answer that they've been threatened by the violence by parents. 40% saying they experienced some during the academic school year. 29% of teachers said that a parent had threatened violence against them. The number of employees who said they experienced physical violence ranged from 14% to 22%. With social workers most likely to report they've been attacked by teachers, and most likely. Violence decreased during online learning, but then resumed when school returned to in-person class. Another survey found that 43% of teachers wanted to quit, and 22% wanted to transfer during the 2020-2021 academic year. Administrators had 27% desire to quit, and 13% desire to transfer. Those rates were the higher in the Northeast and South, where 38% of school employees said they wanted to quit. The higher rates were 45% of bisexual respondents and 41% of gay and lesbian respondents, compared with 36% of heterosexual type employees. That's the study from parents and those threats. So bottom line is, we better not have this happen again. We better not do this again. If we do this again, all that's going to happen is we're bouncing off the wall and chasing the horses in the barn with this. If we don't contain the horse, we're fighting this. Just like the hog story. We're chasing the hogs that's out of the barn, and nothing is being done. If we don't get this crap done, then this and that's going to happen, and it's going to be too late. The bottom line here is, parents, don't ever threaten your child's school, the administrators and all that stuff. You can get in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Coming up on Wednesday, we're going to take you to a school in Houston where years ago, you may remember a guy named Thaddeus Lott, the principal at Wesley Elementary School, who years ago had students reside all 50 states without looking at a map. First graders during third grade math, fifth grade reading Shakespeare, and then compare and contrast. You're going to meet a superintendent who denies all the allegations of racism and won't even look at the school supply list, which says no maps below the third grade. And I'll give you my take on that. So look for that on Wednesday. And that's all for this edition of Give Me a Break Monday. We'll see you again for Give Me a Break Wednesday. And this is a new episode, so new episodes will go on the American Player channel, while older/roommate episodes will go on the new channel. New old, old new. Remember the pattern here. And for all of us here at Give Me a Break and YouTube, good night.